and game number 5 is getting underway. Get hyped, guys, because one of these guys is taking home a win, and the other one's got to go home and sulk on their loss.
Yeah, and you got to believe that Ek0p just needs this for himself, and that is a revenge in his opening hand. Looks like we're going to be playing Control Warrior.
Yeah, I mean, this is sort of a, you know, we saw Kranich use Revenge. I think he was the first player in HPL to use it, and it was a very dedicated control deck.
And you see him just snap off this Harrison Jones against Rogue out of Powder.
Yeah, why wouldn't you keep it against Rogue? I mean, the fact that it can disrupt their mana, pick up a few extra cards. This is also a bad matchup for Powder traditionally. If Ek0p can find some weapons to take care of these early game minions, he can smooth sail to victory towards the end.
Neither player's hand great going forward. Well, I might have spoke a little too soon. Ek0p drew an Armor Smith.
Yep.
Pretty good one from here. He can gain so much armor. That's the plan here. He wants to gain a ton of armor during these games and put himself in a position where Powder can't even deal enough damage to him to kill him anymore.
The one thing he is thinking about is something like Backstab SI7 Agent in the spot.
Yeah, he might just actually armor up and pass here.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, the fact that he's holding onto this card and reluctant to play it, that might be sending Powder a signal that it's something like Fiery War Axe instead, and he may be reluctant to play something like, even if he had SI7 Agent.
Now, we saw Ek0p, snap off this Harrison Jones opening it. He did have an Acidic Swamp boost against Powder earlier when he had weapons in his Rogue class, and never had a spot where he even got to, take a shot at it. So we'll have to see if that happens again here in this matchup. Powder picks up the Violet Teacher as well.
What a great draw from Ek0p too. Anytime you can add pressure to board situations, it's a place where you want to be. He's going to hang on to this and look, I think, to pick off something like a 3/3 with his Cruel Taskmaster. He can buff up the Armor Smith and trade it out there. A lot of different placement. He even now picks up an Acolyte. I mean, Ek0p's hand's looking beautiful.
Yeah, no reason to get super aggressive here. He gets to utilize his mana a little bit better here. Plus, he's got Acolyte of Pain in his deck. It's, way better target to use for the Cruel Task.
There's a backstab, but there is no SI7 agent to couple with it, and so Ek0p going to be delighted to get that news.
Yeah, and this gives Powder a lot of options next turn and how he wants to play his turn. He's going to be able to have Violet Teacher with backstab and coin, all kinds of things. He can even, coin out an Azure Drake. The second Armor Smith picked up for Ek0p here, though.
Ek0p going to get 4 armor, take out a 3/3, and then also still have 2 minor threats on board. This is a great couple of turns from Ek0p here. Powder going to have to do a lot of work to climb back into this game, but Violet Teacher could be the beginning of this.
Yeah, neither one of these opening hands looked amazing in this matchup, but they've been drawing pretty well at the top, and this game's starting to gear up pretty quickly.
The other thing here, too, is that Powder isn't going to really have an opportunity to use a weapon in this spot. So Harrison Jones could be picking up a significant amount of value here.
Yeah, there's a chance he might actually just go for Harrison here just to pick up 2 cards, and his mana is going to be pretty... I was going to say he's going to actually get to only get 1 card here, so maybe you won't see Harrison Jones now. Maybe you're going to see something like Sludge.
Yeah, there's a possibility now. I think he holds on to it, but given the way his hand is structured, I think that Harrison Jones contesting the Azure Drake is totally fine, but he wants to go with Sludge Belcher to contest it. I don't think there's anything wrong with this either. Hunting for bigger value with Harrison Jones, there's no fault in that.
He's already at 41, and you know that he's going to gain even more life and armor as this game goes along. So the game is going to go long unless he just, somehow blows Powder out of the water over the next, couple of turns. So there's going to be a turn where he gets some Harrison Jones value. He doesn't need to rush this game. He doesn't need to speed it up, Yeah,
well, he's speeding up a little bit here. He was thinking about trading in this Cruel Taskmaster, and I think there's kind of pros and cons to both sides of this. If he trades in the Cruel Taskmaster, the Sludge Belcher now challenges the Azure Drake, but if he doesn't trade it in, he gets a few extra points of damage, but he risks something like a minor Blade Flurry being able to turn this around, or even something like SI7 Agent being able to pick it off. So Sap going to be what Powder goes for this turn. Wants to get these tokens rolling. Yeah, Ek0p needs something like a Deathbite he picks up very soon here.
Or that Revenge that we saw in his opening.
Yeah, or the Revenge. I mean, is he running Whirlwind and Revenge? Is there any possibility of that?
If you have one, you got to believe that the other one isn't there, but you never know.
Yeah, it could be the case. And now Powder, he's sort of thinking, should he do the trading for here? It's exactly what he should. So excellent damage from Ek0p that was pushed in this turn. Big Game Hunter's going to be no effect. But Sylvanas, this is looking like a pretty darn good Sylvanas turn. You just saw Sap.
It's a good Sylvanas turn. It's a good Sludge Belcher and Execute turn as well if you don't want to leave this Azure Drake sitting around.
Yeah.
If you're worried about something like big Blade Flurries going forward.
Yeah, if he's going to execute, he definitely is going to add Sludge Belcher to this. Just wonder when this Harrison Jones is going to be used.
I think he's going to wait for just the right moment.
Yeah, I think he's looking for one of those turns where he can disrupt a big Blade Flurry setup. That's really where he's going to put that aim. But, there's a possibility he just needs more options. His hand is running low on utility at this point, and this is one of those decks that has to find the right mix of utility and minions.
Yeah, this deck needs to get through itself. It needs to draw a lot of extra cards. That's why you have stuff like Revenge of Acolyte of Pain stuff. And, ooh, there's that Blade Flurry we're talking about.
Yeah, I think this turn Powder's going to have to settle for trading up some stuff, though.
Yeah, he's going to chew through the front half of this Sludge Belcher, is he thinking about using some of his life total here and leaving behind him one of his tokens? Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I don't blame him for this here either. It will force him, likely to force an attack from HPL in this position. Does keep an extra 1/1 around. Refreshes his dagger. But this is the turn I think that HPL is going to use Harrison Jones. I mean, 2 cards looks so good right now for him. If he picks up a Fiery War Axe in this spot, this game is going to be all but done. Yeah,
it doesn't just pick up 2 cards from him, it does disrupt Powder's turn as well. It takes some mana away from Powder. Powder has to use 2 mana if he wants to dagger again, so it makes him be less efficient with his turns as well.
Yeah, I don't mind the Sylvanas here either because this Pilot Shredder just hit the board, and since the death rattles trigger in the order they entered, Sylvanas is almost guaranteed to get value in this spot, and he's also already seen a sap. And once again, he's at 41 right now.
He's at 41. I mean, he can do whatever he wants pretty much from this spot. He can just continue to lean on the fact that this game is going to go long. If Powder has one of his best turns possible, he's only going to take, I'm saying only, something like 18, 19, or 20 in a turn, and then be able usually to get control back of the board after that. But he is actually just going to get, it's 2 cards, it's very hard to pass up with.
Yeah, I agree with you.
As you said, if you pick up a Fiery War Axe, it's just too good as well.
His hand continues to get minion heavy, and this is one of the spots that I think Powder can actually make a recovery, is this kind of position.
Yeah, he can't be punished by any, ooh, not a bad draw there.
Not at all. Fan of Knives going to be able to pick some stuff off, but he's going to go with Sprint first too. I think you have to, the fact he's got 2 of them in his hand, he has to start cycling through.
Yeah, he's entrenching for a long game as well. He knows that this game's going to continue to go for many turns. Ooh, Edwin Van Cleef, and we see a big game hunter in HPL's hand, but that is one of the ways that Power can steal a game going late. If that thing goes unchallenged for 1 turn, you can sneak in something like 12 to 14 damage sometimes.
Yeah, and he does have another decision in front of him too, and you can see that he's a little bit pained about it. Does he want to prep Fan of Knives into this board? It's not. Here's the thing: Fan of Knives is often not good against this deck at all. So how does he get value with it? Yeah, he's just going to hang on to it. He knows that putting an extra damage on his pilot
shredder that's not big of a good minion to get off of his piloted shredder there as well. Snowchug, if he can start freezing HPL, then any weapon that he draws in the future is going to be dead.
Yep. I mean, there has to be weapons in the deck too. There's just literally no reason not to be.
I mean, we've even seen stuff like Gorehowl becoming more popular lately. So you have to believe there's something.
So Sludge Belcher and then Acolyte Pain is what he's looking at. Sylvanas is something he was looking at too, but I think maybe that ship has sailed a little bit. It's going to be tough for him to find the right time to play this because Powder just picked up 4 extra cards with the with Sprint, so he's got to be mindful of the fact that any single time this Sylvanas comes down, there's a possibility of a bigger board swing.
And now, how does Powder navigate going forward from here? Because you got to believe he wants the Snowchugga to start hitting HPL if he can. He wants to try to take care of this Acolyte Pain without HPL drawing a lot of extra cards. So it's hard for him to utilize Fan of Knives correctly until he gets through the Sludge Belcher. I mean, this is a hard turn.
He's got a lot on his plate if he wants to win this game. I mean, in addition to having to deal with the board well, he's also got to deal 43 points of damage just from this spot. I mean, HPL's going to continue to pad that life total too.
Yeah, this is going to be big where this Eager Sharpton
this
Oil
is an
lands.
Important one. He needs it to land on one of the active minions. I think that one's totally okay for him too. SI7 Agent and Blade Flurry are going to be able to clean up this board pretty darn nicely. Maybe he's having second thoughts about this.
Yeah, do you attack the Sludge Belcher first with your 1/1 minion and then?
I think you can just afford to pay the life here, honestly. I don't think he's got to worry too much about it. SI7 Agent once again.
Yeah, you're gonna get the full board here. Yep. Something like Brawl comes off of the top of HPL's deck. You could see a massive swing in this game.
Yeah, isn't going to be Brawl quite yet. And now the weapons are shut off because that Snowchugga hit freezes HPL.
Yeah, this is a good spot for Powder.
You can see HPL looks really uncomfortable about this. I mean, he's facing on a full board, and he has no way to handle this minion pressure right now.
He just said no brawl. Powder literally just prayed to the screen and was saying no brawl.
Cruel Taskmaster, going to be able to pick off the 6-1 if he wants, but he's got a lot of work to do behind him. I mean, this looks to me like he's going to have to risk a Sylvanas this turn.
Yeah, and he's actually back down to his starting life total now, too. He was over 40 when that turn started. Now he's back down to 30. Ton of pressure on Powder's side of the board.
Yeah, but he's going to be able to add more to it with another sprint. So the pressure is on him. But, but we saw Revenge in his deck, too. So if he's going to run Revenge, I have to think that Brawl's going to be in this deck, too. It's a matter of time whether or not he finds the right answers. And given that he has 2 Shield Maidens behind this and another Shield Block, he does have extra time to do this. But Powder's not going to give him all the time in the world. He's going to try to fight for the right board position.
Yeah, now do you just sprint here trying to find your other sap?
I 100% think so. The Sylvanas is one of the last minions I think you want to see actually hit the board.
Yeah, you still have stuff like Backstab, clear away this Cruel Taskmaster afterwards. Then you get some, other options as well. You can even dagger up afterwards. It looks like he's actually going to trade into the Sylvanas.
Wow. I don't mind trading here too, but the Snowchugga could very easily backfire in this situation.
Yeah, I would attack with the Snow Chugga before I killed the Sylvanas, you know, just to make sure its attack gets in against Ek0p.
Unless he just wants to trade in the Snow Chugga, which would be extremely unconventional, I would say. Second Phantom Knives, though, I don't have a problem with this one.
Yeah, he's trying to decide if he wants to use Phantom Knives or get more value out of his SI agent. As we said, Phantom Knives, not great in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he's finding anything to do with Phantom Knives is a very big talking point. Oh, ooh, Eviscerate. Any reach is welcome at this point.
Go. I love the sequencing from him here. Just attack with the big minions first.
Yeah, and this is going to decide actually whether or not he's Van Cleaving or what. Gets a 1-1 out of the deal. So very happy to see that. And then 6-6, or I'm sorry, 8-8 Van Cleave gets made.
Yeah, and you see him pick off the other minion here just in case, you know, something like playing around something like Execute.
You know, the 8-8 actually here is a very big liability. I'm curious if Powder thought through this scenario.
If he just makes it a 6-6?
Yeah, if he makes it a 6-6,
yeah, I would have liked to see him make it a 6-6.
Totally fine position.
You can see he's mad at himself.
Yeah,
about
I think that's a blunder from Powder, and that's like really. I mean, this is now Ek0p. I think this is his game at this point. I mean, you look at what Powder's got left. He's going to need this sprint to be gas if he wants to win this one.
Yeah, I mean, he does still have an Eviscerate and an SI agent, but that's not going to be enough to get him through what's going on from Ek0p. Ek0p even thinking about getting really defensive here and playing a Shield Bane over this Dr. Boom.
Yeah, I think the Dr. Boom all the way. I mean, you want Blade Flurry to be a liability to your opponent if you can, and that's really one of the only ways to do it.
Also, you got to get busy killing him, too.
Yeah, that's the other thing, too. I mean, Powder's down to 21. I mean, you're close to the killing range.
Yeah, it looks like Ek0p might just make the safe play here, though.
I mean, he's obviously very concerned about his life total, but, you know, he's seen Blade Flurry, he's seen a sap, he's seen, you know, a lot of minions hit the board. The fact that
seen one of the Tinker Sharp Oils.
Yeah, I mean, he's seen a lot of damage at this point. So he's going to play defensively here. Powder picks up Sap here, but Sap is like one of the worst plays onto a Shield Maiden in this situation.
Yeah, it's not really where you want to be. You know, now he does have a couple other options. He could do something like Sprint plus SI7 agent here.
I think he's got to start making a push at this point because obviously he's got some sort of plans with the Sap right now.
Yeah, I think he's just going to hold on to it to play around something like another Sludge Belcher.
Yeah, wants to get the pressure high. And if he's doing this, I think
is he going to Eviscerate and take care of the Shield Maiden as well?
That's exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah, he's just going to clean this board up and try to make it, because he hasn't seen a Brawl yet, he hasn't seen any Master Removal at Ek0p, he can just assume that's not in his hand, and he's having to try to top deck it, so again, he's just going to have to cross his fingers, hope for nothing like a Brawl going forward.
Yeah, I mean, this was the sort of the liability of Ek0p not playing Dr. Boom this turn, was that, you know, now these Boombots aren't on board, they're not a threat to kill these minions anymore.
Well, I mean, he does have a pretty good turn this turn if he wants. He has Shield Block, Shield Maiden, Shield Slam, plus, you know, he could draw a card with the Shield Block to start to see where he wants to go from here, so he can start taking care of someone's board. Finally picks up a Fiery Warwick, so you may see him actually Shield Slam this Snow Chugga going forward, just so to get his Fiery Warwick active going forward.
I think it's exactly what he's got to do.
Well, he has to, right, with his Fiery Warwick.
I think so as well. And so Powder, you know, pretty big turns available for him. Sprint is going to pick up 4 fresh cards.
Are we going to see another player win a game by dealing more than 50 damage?
I mean, there's a possibility for it. Sprint, again, going to add a lot of gas to this hand. That's some pretty darn saucy damage getting picked up for Powder.
That was a pretty good 4 cards.
I think he's totally fine sapping this this Shield Maiden at this point. I mean, what fear do you have anymore? You have so much extra damage now.
Yeah, just kind of take away Ek0p's turn from him. Just play a big tempo play.
Yep. I mean, what are you going to have trouble chewing through this point? Sludge Belcher's checked by Blood Mage, Eviscerate. You have Tinker Sharp Sword Oil and Deadly Poison in your hand. You know, what's missing? I don't have a problem either with just daggering up and throwing on a Poison too. He's seen Harrison Jones, so he doesn't have to worry about too much. I don't think he's worried about weapon destruction at all. You know, just start setting up another big Tinker Sharp Sword Oil turn.
Yeah, the way you see him play from this moment on is going to be game deciding. Yeah, he's just going to set up a big turn next turn. I think he's okay if one of his minions getting taken care of. And, you know, possibly 2. He has to assume that, you know, a weapon is now unlocked.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, when you see the slam on the Snow Chugga, you have to believe there's weapons on the other side.
Do you think he's thinking about not deadly poisoning this turn as well?
Yeah, it's clearly what he's thinking about. Ek0p.
kind of messing with him.
Trying to throw out some mind games here. Powder, not going to attack this turn.
This game is getting tense.
Ooh, Grom is... I mean, that's got to be one of the perfect cards to add to hand right now.
He's going to be able to take care of Ek0p's entire board now.
I mean, if he sees damage invested to the Grom, with the way his hand's constructed right now, I think he's thrilled with that.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't need to win with this Gromish going forward. He has Dr. Boom Ysera in his hand. He's got winning the game eventually.
If he does not die in the next few turns, I think...
Yeah, Ek0p not dying is winning the game going forward from here. The onus is on Powder to really push forward.
Anytime someone does die, they win.
That's not exactly true.
Powder's got his work cut out for him now. I mean, I agree with
he can make a
plays.
really big Eviscerate this turn as well, but again, that doesn't even take care of the Shield Maiden or the Fiery War Axe.
Yeah, I think he's fine using his life total to take care of things. Gets to pick up a card. Again, 6 damage being invested in the Grom. I think Ek0p's going to be pretty darn happy with that.
Yeah, he's going to take care of this Grom. He's going to use his face to take care of the Shield Maiden and just hope to God that the last 2 cards in Ek0p's hand aren't enough to start really dealing with what he's doing and pushing forward to win this game.
Yeah, I think the big talking point for Ek0p now is, does he use his Fiery War Axe in this spot to take out this Azure Drake? I mean, I don't know if he could really. I mean, maybe now that he's picked up the Shield Slam. I'm sorry, take out the Blood Mage Thanos. Now that he's picked up the Shield Slam, I think he's looking at the Azure Drake instead.
Yeah, I think you're going to see that here. He's seen a lot of the push potential from Powder go away over the span of this game, so he's not fearing, you know, the eviscerates going forward. You know, if he takes care of this Blood Mage Thanos, only leaves 1 power on the board.
Powder almost out of
things
cards
like
too.
Tinker Shot for Oil. Oh, that was a good one.
That is, I mean, that's scary that he's almost out of cards. He's got to put together a lot of damage with his hand right now.
Yeah, he can get through 8 with this Blade Flurry, and then he has to hope that this Pilot Shredder just goes the whole way.
I mean, it's pretty likely. Ek0p's got 1 card left.
Yeah, he could even put the Pilot Shredder into play, hoping that it soaks up some of the bombs.
I don't think he wants it to soak up bombs right now. I think he wants them to go to the dome. The problem is that he can't get the extra 4 damage on the Tinker Sharp, the extra 3 damage on the Tinker Sharp Sword Oil if he doesn't play the minion first.
How does he, yeah.
Now, I wouldn't play the minion first at all. I would just...
He's thinking about it.
That's a dangerous proposition.
Well, I mean, the thing is if you miss it from getting it on your minion, really, what are you missing out on? The chances that if it's surviving against these bombs is pretty low.
Exactly. That's why I think he should just...
If you could take the option, you would take it. I mean, you take the chance at, you know, 50-50, 50-50 of, yeah, he's just going to get the 1 in. He's going to go ahead and make this play.
Yeah, I don't blame him for this either. Deals with Dr. Boom. He comes down to 1 card now. And again, this deals 7 points.
Oh, no. Powder forgot that he only had 1 charge.
Another blunder. Wow, that is a very rare misstep that we see from players. Powder, I mean, that's potentially game-ending, that mistake.
Yeah, and we've heard Powder say this, you know, a lot of times in HPL, he's been playing all day long when he gets here. It is very late where he lives. You might see, you know, the lateness in the day or the night getting to him just a little bit.
These boombots matter so much, too.
That makes him draw his last card as well.
Oh, he needs this last boombot to hit, too. Oh, wow, that's got to be a sigh of relief.
Explosive sheep, wow.
Yep, and Powder just absolutely...
Yeah, he's got to feel like he gave this one away.
Yeah, he's got no one to blame for himself but that one, honestly. I mean, it's not guaranteed that he's going to win this game even from that spot, but his chances just, basically just sailed away almost.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even have enough damage left in his hand or in his deck to actually kill Ek0p from here. This explosive sheep and this anti-kill bot plus the Blade Flurry and the Deadly Poison aren't going to be able to actually deal enough damage to kill him.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to see when it's happening. Gosh,
yeah, I mean, just look at, you got to feel for him. I mean, he's realizing, he's like, I probably had a good chance of winning from here. Oh, look at Ek0p,
little flare from
him.
Powder, man, just kind of embarrassed in the last one, concedes this game, not even going to try to pick something up on the off chance that he just happens to get through a threat. That anti-kill bot is a threat, and to be able to stick that to the board, I mean, that's Hearthstone sometimes. You cannot afford those kinds of mistakes, and that was a massive one.